Boom, boom.
That was nice.
That was really good. Which tasty riff was that?
That was a loogie.
That was.
Well, welcome to the Afterburner, Afterbirth,
Afterbirth.
There we go.
show.
It works. Success.
For the entertainment answer is
Pound
we're
entertainment afterbirth.
This is for all those of you that want to just kind of subscribe to more.
Yeah.
On social
they're out
media.
there.
And we're sorry.
They're out there, man.
Exclusive to social media.
Yes,
we
absolutely.
just won't be on the air.
dude.
That's right.
I'm cool with
This
it.
is the
I'm
stuff
down.
that can't make radio,
That's true.
no matter how late in the schedule.
But there's
we are.
there's a couple really cool things that we couldn't talk about on the air because of time wise. But I want to talk about Nintendo is back in the
My goodness.
framework right now with their Pokemon Go. However, I'm not talking about that. I'm
You
talking.
should because
Are there any Pokemon?
I spent all weekend driving my wife around and kids around, and we would
for that?
just to catch Pokemons. All over, we hit every
so
Pokemon.
so explain
Your wife?
Explain that to me because I was too old for Pokemon and Power Rangers,
Right.
and I don't. And so now I see so many friends doing it. And so is it like you go to gyms, you go to restaurants, and you catch a virtual creature? Is that what it is?
Yeah, you just drive around and you have the app and you have your virtual person and they'll just pop up on your screen. And
So it's
you
like
just go
GPS.
Yeah, and you just go over there and capture.
So
them.
yeah, it's the whole virtual. What's it called? Augmented reality.
And brilliant. And what's brilliant about it, the marketing, because their stock went like 100 billion times. It just exploded. They're but it's cool because like the Alamo Draft House has a Pokestop. Businesses are like, we're going to put up a Pokestop. Come here. We're going to put out a little essence, get all these Pokies in there.
Does
Pokemon's
Salem
in-
Radio Network have a Pokestop yet?
They need to.
We need to have one.
Yeah.
We should.
We need to create one.
have a little Pokemon looks like Mike Gallagher.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Yeah,
Gallagher.
can have a little Mark Davis running around.
That's great. But in addition to this, since if you bought stock with them 2 weeks ago, you probably have tons of money. However, they're releasing a original Nintendo Classic System on November 11th for $60. It is going to have HDMI hookups for your new TVs. It's going to have a wireless classic controller, and it's going to be loaded with 30 games inside already.
Dude.
All of the Super Mario Brothers, Excite Bike. That's going to be
Duck Hunt.
Yes, that's going to be the Christmas gift for everybody.
That's gonna be the next weekend.
Have them send us
kid.
one.
Huh? Yeah, I will. Nintendo, we
So,
want you to sponsor us.
is it gonna-
if you listening?
You don't
Is
have
it
to
going to be
sponsor,
the?
just send us one.
Is it going to be the console box, or is it going to be like just the joystick, like everybody else does?
The console. It's a console and controller, but the console is a little smaller than the original, so it's like
Right.
portable.
Okay.
But yeah, it has the HDMI hookups. That's what really everybody wants. And I guess this
Will
wire.
it play old cartridges?
No cartridges.
Now that sucks because if you could slam in one of your old cartridges that's not in the list, that would be great.
So supposedly, I think the thing is that they're going to be able to add more games to
just
it.
download
Yes.
firmware
So
updates, whatever.
So
Cool.
30, and supposedly
for
the
$60.
$60, $59.99.
Order now. Also
When does
receive
it? When does it drop?
another box. Two.
An Atari joystick.
Yeah, so that's really cool.
When does that drop?
November 11th. So in time
Hey,
for the holidays.
My
Christmas,
birthday's the
dude.
6th, fellas. My birthday's the 6th. So
They are getting that ready for Christmas.
Well, they are.
And Curly's birthday.
That's really cool. Another thing that came in the news, since they're rebooting all of the old classic Universal monster movies, they want Javier Bardem to play Frankenstein.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Which is awesome because they've got Tom Cruise to reboot The Mummy, which is crazy, but sweet. Russell
What
Crowe.
is Tom Cruise not going to try to do? Dude, we could do an entire show about why I don't like Tom Cruise.
We need to because it will be a steel cage match between because I love Tom Cruise.
Do you?
I love Tom
How
Cruise.
did we ever decide to do a show together? I don't understand.
It brought us together.
All right, next week's show,
They need
run
to do
sheet. Tom
Tom
Cruise,
Cruise.
love or hate.
they need to do the Invisible Man, and I'm talking the.
And let Tom Cruise do the Invisible Man. He'll just disappear.
but not the loosely based on like Thinner Man or what was the one that Kevin Bacon did?
Oh, Hollow Man.
Hollow Man. Not that. I'm talking Claude Rains. Straight up. Yeah.
No, and Russell Crowe's involved in one of the new ones as well. But Javier Bardem as Frankenstein, that would be
I could
so
dig
amazing.
that.
Supposedly he was being courted for a Jekyll Hyde movie, but that fell through. And so to do Frankenstein, Javier Bardem, Anton Sugar from the Coen Brothers movie. Oh my goodness!
Hey, speaking of
One of the best. We could do a whole best villains too.
Let's
Dude,
do
he
it.
was- He was tops.
Did you guys saw Mary Riley, right?
Mary Shelley's?
No, Mary
Mary
Riley. That was you mentioned Jekyll and Hyde, and that was the movie 95.
Probably a decade ago.
Yeah, 95, 96, something like that. The one where it's Julia Roberts as a
I do remember that.
A lady in waiting or a housekeeper or whatever. John Malkovich playing the tortured doctor. That was a fantastic in the next room observance of that story. Go see it, everybody. Download it, whatever you do. That movie was fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I remember that. Yeah, when it came out, it didn't get much press at all, but man, it was really solid.
Yeah,
and that's
really
when Malkovich was like the dude. I don't know what happened to him.
He's still the dude.
He's still the dude. Awesome. But he's not really doing anything.
He doesn't have to.
Maybe if he goes back to the marionettes, then he'll.
But you go back to watch Rounders.
Yeah.
You know him as that Russian
KGB.
Yeah, KGB.
What was it?
I splash
the pot
whenever I want.
Him was it Absolute Power? In the Line of Fire? One of those.
Yeah,
in the Line of Fire. Him being
he was the bad guy.
Yeah, boy.
He was also the bad guy in Con Air, wasn't he?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he was
so good.
Yeah.
That's another movie that's just so great.
Him in both of the Red movies. I get to get the pig. I mean, I love those movies.
It's good.
And then you even go back and watch Places in the Heart, where he's just that blind guy that helps Sally Field on the farm.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Well, do you remember the other Coen Brothers movie, Burn After Reading, where he was the guy? He was excellent.
He was in Burn After Reading.
He was so good in that.
That movie was so disturbing.
I loved that movie. But
we could do a whole
that was a good Brad Pitt.
4 hours on John Malkovich. We love John Malkovich. Another really cool thing that I think broke the nerdosphere is that Boom Studios, which is a comic book company, has just announced that they're going to put out a comic book that mixes the Big Trouble in Little China characters with the Escape from New York characters. So there's going to be double your pleasure, double your fun. Kurt Russell.
So
characters.
Is Kurt Russell going to play
both parts?
I mean, is it going to be split screen?
Well, it's
okay. You said it was comics.
So yeah, comic book.
No,
so
I want to see that on the screen.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, man.
Kurt Russell playing those two, Snake Plissken and Jack Burton again.
Yeah,
everybody wants. But I feel like that's something that would make the biggest fanboys implode on themselves, because I think
boy, talk about afterbirth.
Yeah, so I just think that's pretty cool. And so now we live in a time where like Netflix is putting back all these shows and all of our favorite things, and that this is like the epitome of that.
Right.
Coming together with stuff like that.
Sweet.
I like it.
And I remember watching Big Trouble in Little China for the first time and just going, why hasn't anybody told me about this film?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, late 80s?
Yeah,
probably
late
80s.
Like 86, 87.
It was like John Carpenter's Western, basically.
Yeah.
And it was so way out weird because he already had done, Halloween. He had already done The Thing. And
it's like John Carpenter doing a Richard Donner Western.
Yeah, but there's so much to it, and it's classic one-liners, and it's fun, and it still held up. And not many people know this, but John Carpenter scores all of his movies.
Yeah,
and he's so good at it.
Yeah, that Halloween score was difficult. Ding dong dong, ding dong dong, ding dong, ding dong dong.
It worked.
Brilliant.
So was Jaws.
Very much so.
That was it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that aspect to it as well.
Sweet.
And I guess what I watched a new documentary that's also part, I think, of the Fantasia Fest, which is a documentary called The Lost Arcade, directed by Kurt Vincent, and it's about where all the arcades went over the past 20 years, specifically in New York City, where there used to be dozens of arcades, and there's like how they all went away, why they all went away, and the search for like the one last arcade that's not like, that has to double as a restaurant and bar, just a full-on arcade with quarters. It's really good.
Sweet.
The Lost Arcade. Here it is. Coming soon, August 12th.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah, unless you want to talk wrestling.
Is there anything going on in wrestling?
Yes, there is. So much.
Buckle up.
Buckle up.
Now, did Reigns, is he still suspended?
Reigns is still suspended up until I think next week or so, and then he'll be back for a battleground with the triple threat between the former Shield, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns.
Right.
So they've been doing a lot of fun with that. The Miz is excellent, still the Intercontinental Champion. Rusev Machka, the Bulgarian brute, is just murdering everybody. One of my favorite storylines with him recently is he's been in a feud with a guy named Titus O'Neil, who for the last year has like been the public Father of the Year. Like he's won all the Father of the Year awards. And on Father's Day was a Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and Rusev murdered Titus O'Neil in the ring in front of his kids. And it was amazing on Father's Day. He's like the stereotypical Russian, bad guy from like Rocky. But he's such a good bad guy.
Right.
Yeah, he's excellent. So yeah, they've the new thing they're doing right now is CWC, the Cruiserweight Championship, which a cruiserweight was usually the high-flying acrobatic guys.
Mm-hmm.
They took those.
Flash Nuka.
Yes. Oh, look at you!
Bam!
When did you get there? And so they're trying
like
to get
Von Erichs on the zip line
in Dallas, absolutely. Von Erichs and Kamala, but yeah, the cruiserweight, they're the smaller guys, but they're a lot of fun to watch. So they took that belt and that whole area away from WWE for so long, but they started like an NCAA bracket where all of them are fighting for 10 weeks and to get to a winner. And the first episode was last night on the WWE Network, and it was so much fun to watch.
I like how you call it an episode, like a soap opera, as opposed to like MMA is like bouts and.
So it's entertainment. It is like watching a show, but so the cruiserweight is definitely just wrestling because they're a tournament, but the actual like Raw and SmackDown, which will be separate here on July 19th. It is a show. It's like watching Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones, but they're actually taking real hits and bumps.
Right.
But the next pay-per-view's Battleground. The main event will be Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins.
We should have a watching party at Studio Movie Grill.
We should. Oh, and I want to also say in relation to that, Brock Lesnar finally returned to the UFC a couple of weeks ago. He was a big guy, and so he won his match fair and square.
Complete.
He like dominated. So he's going to be at SummerSlam too. So it was like a big deal for people who usually hate on wrestling. Saw that one of the biggest wrestlers of all time actually can hold himself still in a UFC ring.
No, that's pretty good.
So he dominated.
It's not just acting in acrobatics.
It's not.
And properly timed 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
flip.
but it's so much more because they're so funny on the mic.
Yeah. Well, so
classic entertainment.
Do you go to any of these live?
100 billion% I do.
That's Brian's life.
Yes, it is.
That's good.
I love it.
Yeah.
Always have.
That's good. Isn't he cute?
Yeah.
Thank you. I was a former model.
Yes, you were.
The husky J.C. Penney
These
Kellogg's
pants fit, Mom.
Yes, they do.
But I tell you,
this elastic
and
is
I posted
great
about
idea.
this a lot, but because I was at WrestleMania this year.
Yeah,
and
we both went. Yeah,
it
really. For a guy who hates sports, you went to WrestleMania
because it's not a really.
It's not. I know it's not a sport.
Yeah, it's not boring like baseball.
Did you take the boy to it?
No, I was up in the press box at Jerry World and just watching, but it was awesome, man.
It was a lot of fun.
It was so entertaining, dude, and it was just
the show looked spectacular.
It was theatrical, just insanity. It was like the best of a sporting event and Ringling Brothers, and it was just thrown together into this mix. And the crowd, you can tell the crowd eats that up.
And see, that's what I like. That's what when I try to explain to people who don't really watch wrestling or usually turn their nose up on it, is that. UFC, they're great. They're athletic. They really go at it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of downtime when they're just, standing there fighting and like nothing's happening. But with wrestling, it's all theatrical. They're usually talking. There's always something going on. They're getting the audience into it. And you've been to a wrestling audience. They're, chanting, yes, or no. It's so much fun. And it's like watching a TV show.
It's probably the most spectator interactive sport that's out there.
It's a lot of fun. And so if you're into wrestling or want to check out a live show, SmackDown Live will be in Dallas August 30th at American Airlines Center. I will be there.
We should go. We should broadcast.
Yeah, we should totally broadcast.
Let's do it. We'll do it.
Right.
I've got tickets.
I'm sure you do. You probably ordered them day one. You probably just printed the first one and gave it to you.
Yeah, that's what happens.
The king of wrestling. You are the King Kong Brody.
The King Kong Brody.
Wow.
There was so besides Goldberg, who's famously Jewish wrestler, there was a guy, and I'm trying to remember his name.
Is he Hasidic?
But his gimmick was being Jewish. That was his whole gimmick, and it was really funny. I'm trying to I can't remember his name right now, but yeah, it was really funny.
Did he circumcise you in the ring?
Does he have a move called the dreidel?
Yes, the menorah, the twirling dreidel. No, that's
he rips you into 8 pieces.
Yeah, no, it was really fun. But they have all these gimmicks. It's a lot of fun because that's part of entertainment. It's called World Wrestling Entertainment, and this is the entertainment answer. So I think every now and again we got to talk a little bit about it.
Oh, dude, we'll do a lot of wrestling on this show, especially if nothing else in these little afterbirths.
Yeah, these little afterbirths shows. So yeah, I think that's really all I've got. I guess minus Mr. Robot season 2 starting. So
yeah, and that was just nominated. The Emmys came out.
Today, right?
Emmys
and
so we'll talk about
Kimmel's
that on the show.
host it.
Cool.
Yeah, so Mr. Robot got a lot of nominations. Of course, Game of Thrones was the big.
Yeah,
how much longer is that going to go?
2 more seasons.
Yeah.
With 7 episodes each.
And then they will have raped and killed everybody.
Yes, that's
in Game of Thrones
hopefully.
style.
I was so sad to see Ramsay Bolton go. He was my favorite.
And yeah,
I have yet to see a single episode.
Oh my goodness!
Unlike The Walking, sort of like The Walking Dead, it's like nobody is safe.
Yeah,
on
no,
Game of Thrones.
And so
that's what I like about Walking Dead.
I read the comic books since they've come out of Walking Dead, and was it issue 50 or 30 or something like that. A lot of people died in the Walking Dead comic books.
Oh yeah,
all at once, because it's not like the show
No.
as far as it. But there was one comic book where tons of people died, and so many people wrote Robert Kirkman, the creator, letters, and he said just what you said. He's like, it is a very realistic, nobody's safe,
right,
and that's what makes it so good, because it's so realistic in a way that, you know, really there's not like one guy who's gonna like stand the test of time because he's the strongest or the fastest. Anybody's really game for this,
right?
Yeah. So
did speaking of Walking Dead, I was just fumbling through the channels the other night, and I don't remember what station it was on, but this one was with Norman Reedus.
Oh,
he's got a new series.
Yeah, that's with him on the motorcycle. Yeah,
him on a motorcycle with a buddy driving around, and this was the New Orleans episode. Anyway, it looked really good. It looked cool. It reminded me of An Idiot Abroad, but also whatever that Ewan McGregor one that came on 5 or 6 years ago.
Not Train Spotting.
No, no. It was this kind of thing, driving around the countryside,
bow hunting.
Yeah.
Holy crap! Did you know Ewan McGregor is credited in The Force Awakens?
Well, yeah, because his voice is heard in like the flashback dream sequence.
He gets credit. All right, 17 minutes. Is that a long enough after party?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Hooray! After party entertainment answer.
Yay! What was that show?
Tune in every week.